Abba and preach about Ethan Klein saying they're conservatives.
I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
fuck. I
with
feel like we need
everything
to.
that's
I feel like we need to catch up on this whole thing.
happening, and a lot of the dumb conversations that are happening. I thought there was one thing that was really interesting to me.
What?
During that live stream that they did, one thing that they said that
Who's they?
Ethan Klein and his wife.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Whatever.
They said something. They said, "Oh, look at these centrists," and they went air quotes.
They're centrists, you know?
Yeah, and we know what
Kind of.
that means.
Kind of.
I do like how like utterly bubbled into their own world Hasan and Ethan are. Hasan should know better. Ethan, I think, is just kind of dumb. So it's I can never tell. I truly can never tell with Ethan. Ethan feels like a guy who has like 83 IQ, but he wants to have like really strong political takes. But he just probably shouldn't be navigating that world. That's just the feeling I get. And then Hasan is just like a fucking loser.
Like I said, I don't know enough about them.
Right, which is essentially like their way of being like, we know what that means. So that's what they said, right? Which is their way of saying like we're like alt-right, right-wingers.
It's not so. No, I think it means that we're centrists are viewed like people that are not solid and not flip-flop.
That's not how they meant it.
No,
When they say centrist like this with air quotes,
yeah, that's what you're saying.
They're trying to say they're not actually centrist. They're saying we're right.
We're right. Yeah. You're right.
I just noticed this. The irony of all this whole thing is that politically speaking, if we're being like just straight, we have way more in common with these two people than we would with anyone on the right. Right? If you were to ask us on all our policies, we'd be like, yo, we're for socialized healthcare.
Yeah.
I'll speak.
Why the ban on Fuentes content as soon as someone being too Nazi issue? It's just like it's a combination of things. One is him being like super mask off post Kanye shit is really fucking cringe. That speech that he gave in front of like the dead fucking corpse in the background was really fucking cringe. The fact that he shit talks me constantly, despite the fact that I was relatively friendly towards him, is really fucking cringe. Him not doing like it's not worth it. Like he failed out hardcore with the Kanye shit. He can find his own bearings again. Maybe I'll talk to him sometime in the future. But right now, it's just like I don't like. There's like so many opportunities I have in front of me right now, and like so many different ways that I can engage with people. Like, why the fuck would I go back to Fuentes, who's like always been like relatively like a piece of shit towards me? Like, it's just not worth it. I'm okay.
For me, socialized healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm for taxation for social programs.
Yeah.
I'm for unions. I'm for strong labor laws. I'm for immigration that allows people to come in reasonably. So. On a lot of the major core, I'm for public funding for education that's very strong. I believe in a lot of socialization for society to be cohesive. You may disagree, that's okay. We don't come to this channel to all agree on one thing. But this is something I've noticed since my early 20s. You can be left-leaning in all the most important categories. And these people be like, oh my God, culture war. It's all the people ever talk about. Why is this obsession with culture war? But then if you say one thing like, yo, I don't think trans women should be in women's sports. Yo, look at this right-wing conservative bigot. Hold on, what?
The minute you go on one thing, it doesn't have to be on that topic specifically, but if you go on one thing, no matter what the thing is.
Yeah. When they say stuff like that, do you realize that most of the people who are black who voted Democrat align with exactly what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are they also all right-wing operatives? Oh, well, you know.
Oh, also, fuck me. I was gonna ban like 400 people from my subreddit, but I was traveling, so I was too lazy to do it. When I say that people get when you speak about like political groups or parties or pundits or whatever in a country, you're usually talking about like with respect to that country's politics. Half my fucking fan base is like raging out that I describe like the Daily Wire as kind of like a center right publication in the grand totality of like U.S. politics. That's the impression that I have of the Daily Wire, and then everybody goes online and is like, well, actually, compared to socialism and communism, they're actually far right. They're the farthest right ever. Like, in the grand scheme of, like, here's something that, and I'm not a huge consumer of either one, but I felt like, in my feeling, I think Tucker Carlson was more right-wing than I think anybody on the Daily Wire was. I don't know if I've ever heard Matt Walsh talk about, like, great replacement and immigration as much as Tucker Carlson, but he might have said it and I missed it. But, like, Tucker Carlson felt almost to the right of anybody in the Daily Wire. I think that Steven Crowder, with like his relentless populism and Trump worship and everything, I think it's like pretty solidly to the right of Daily Wire. I feel like the Daily Wire represents kind of like, my feeling is that if you're a mainstream conservative, you're probably going to be okay with the Daily Wire. But every single person Okay, Knowles on trans eradication. I'm sorry, but progressives has lost the culture war on trans shit, and as soon as you say trans anything, I just completely ignore you because you guys are actually fucking retarded, and we might actually meme our way into a trans genocide, and you guys actually completely fucking earned it. I'm sorry, but you guys have no fucking idea where to fight your battles, what positions you want to stake out, what the fuck you even believe. Like, you're actually so fucking retarded. I cannot side publicly with any fucking activists when it comes to trans shit anymore. You guys have lost your fucking mind on everything. Like, actually everything. I don't even know what the fuck. Like, if you do, for instance, like if you're into self-ID, which I feel is like over 50% of the trans people online, you don't deserve to have an opinion on trans issues at all. If you unironically defend the concept, and I don't even know how many people this is, of like 3 or 4 year old trans people, you've lost the fucking plot. You guys, if you're on the trans athlete shit and you are like hardcore, like, oh yeah, like trans women should be able to compete alongside normal women or cis women and all that, blah, 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 you've lost the plot. Like, I'm sorry, but like online trans activist people have totally lost the plot. So when you guys say, oh no, they're actually as far right as the Nazis because of trans issue, I immediately ignore everything you have to say because I know you have nothing of value to say to me. I'm a griper, but I watch you for a balanced perspective. I know a lot of people like me. You disappointed a lot of your fans with that decision. I don't give a fuck. Then don't watch me. You don't have to watch me if you don't want to. I don't have an obligation to help bolster Nick on his dying platform because he decided to throw his lot in with fucking Kanye West being a little fucking Nazi kid. That's him. That's his decision. You have to make decisions, and like a big boy, you have to live with it. I'm not gonna associate with somebody like that is like blatantly pushing fucking W Hitler, love Hitler, Nazi fucking propaganda. Shit is fucking weird and fucking cringe. The only reason I associate with him prior to this is because AF was kind of moving away from that cringe larby bullshit. Even on your little fucking private forum that you guys link, I like, for the most part, you guys were trying to move away from that really fucking cringe, ultra anti-Semitic bullshit. But the Kanye shit flipped you guys completely around, and now you're back in that fucking weird world. I don't want to have much to do with it. That's on you. I'm sorry if you don't like that. I'm sorry if that upsets you. Go complain to your movement. Okay, learn to moderate a little bit. There are plenty of, like, if you want to be fucking part of the Daily Stormer, or if you want to join like actual hard right, far right, groups online, go do it. I don't know why AF feels like it has to be that. Like, there are so many more interesting things. If you want to be a paleo-conservative or a Christian theological conservative, whatever, or Christian nationalist, there are so many more interesting things that you could talk about than obsessing over like fucking Jews and everything. It's such a boring, played out, tired. Like, Jewish people to you are like the trans people of the fucking progressive movement, and that you guys just obsess over it way too fucking much, and it makes me not want to engage. So suck a dick. Maybe in a few months I'll reconsider, but if Walsh and other Daily Wire people talked about more econ, then it would be more clear that they may be neo-constitutional right. But I think it's because all they talk about are social issues, and that's all the clips of them. Yeah, but the problem is, I don't think people know where the average American stands on social issues. Like, you guys think that like over 50% of Americans are probably okay with like 15-year-olds on puberty blockers, and that's just not the case. Whole countries have moved away from that standard of care for trans youth, and you guys think that it's insane that like fucking conservatives would say that. Like, you've lost the plot on trans issues. You completely lost the plot on it. Like, it's fucking insane. Continuation on earlier comment. Don't want to swing hard either way. Just in other words, Candace Owens, Knowles, since they're Daily Wire people, and these words seem farther than center right.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. So in thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have.
What do you? This is why I don't trust. This is why I don't believe anything you guys say. This is why I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything from a progressive. Like I said, I treat you guys online the exact same way as I do Nazis. And you deserve it. You've earned it. You've earned that treatment. What is your interpretation of what she's saying here? Do you think she's saying that I was okay with the death camps in the concentration camps, which, by the way, I think most of them were outside of Germany, so technically that even would, in the most technical sense, it technically would fit her argument. But, like, she's not saying here that she's okay with the death camps. She's saying that it's okay to be nationalistic, but Germany's problems with that, they were also trying to conquer countries around them, too. But, like, every standard conservative is going to defend the idea of nationalism to you. Like, no fucking shit. So you disagree with the ADL? Yeah, probably. The ADL sees anti-Semitism everywhere. Okay, I'm probably gonna disagree with the ADL on a lot of shit. I also disagree with the SPLC on a lot of shit. Like, sure, I don't care. I don't care what the ADL says on that. It doesn't change the clip. Like, or I'm curious, do you think he or she's saying, like, W. Hitler? Like, I actually support Jewish eradication. I just wish they would only do it in Germany? Like,
it is all... There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism...
Seems like a lot of people just see extremism as super right-wing or super left-wing for some reason. I think for most progressives, like here, like this is how it works, okay? You've got Bernie Sanders, AOC, and then this is Nazism. That's it. This is it. You've got Bernie, AOC, and then this is Nazis. That's it. I'm so curious if I were to ask like a progressive, who do you think a centrist is? Like, who is an actual centrist that's not a fascist in hiding, that's not a Nazi in hiding? I'm so curious, like what a progressive would say. They're not going to give you an answer, right? And then even a hard question: who's a center right person to a progressive? Like, they're not going to have I don't know. They'd say you're a centrist. No, people don't even call me a centrist. They say they call me people call me far right these days. Oh yeah, or they would call Biden a centrist. Actually, that's actually true. They might call Biden a centrist when Biden, I'm pretty sure, has led the most progressive administration in U.S. history. Like, yeah. No one is seriously calling you far right, Destiny. Okay. Oh yeah, we were watching this. Sorry.
You know what? Me personally, I think there's some ways in which feminism has worked against women's interests. You right-wing pop. Like, bro, did I ever say that I wasn't pro-choice? Did I ever say like on the important stuff? But we can't just disagree. And I noticed that, I mean, this could be true for everyone, but I noticed as someone who leads left, people look at you, it's not that you're an imperfect actor.
Why did you platform Sam Hyde when you consider him a Nazi then? I wanted to do an interview with Sam Hyde because I'm not sure what he believes. I've heard a lot of different things. He's an interesting character. He wanted to come up. No, you're not going to guilt trip me into giving a platform to your, like, daddy. I'm sorry. Like, I don't owe my platform to anybody. Like, you're not going to, you're not going to debate me into, I just don't feel like platforming Nick right now. I just don't feel like it. Maybe in the future I will, but he wanted to cast his lot in with Nick Fuentes, or with Kanye West, and that shit fucking failed miserably. He came out as much farther right with him than I'd seen in like the past year for him. I just have no interest in like fucking platforming that right now. I'm sorry if that upsets you or makes you sad.
Ally, you're just an enemy.
Destiny's not a Fuentes fan. The Reagan or the Renegan of Rage in my YouTube chat, he probably is. That guy is super conservative. That guy is constantly shooting me on my YouTube chat. I don't know how he's not banned yet. Okay, I must be in a good mood every time I look at my YouTube chat.
The moment you disagree, you're not like an ally who I disagree with. You're not like this person on the same team who we just have a different vision to some degree. You're an enemy immediately.
Yeah. You're gonna be in that whole ass box. There's no nuance. It's funny how, like, I counted, all right, the other day I was looking at my cell phone, and there are more than 10 applications on my phones that are meant for communication.
Okay, go.
Over 10. That's without the text messaging and the phone calls, which that's what a phone is meant for.
Yeah.
And we have all this technology to communicate, but we don't listen. We don't have nuance for nothing. It's like nuance is the enemy of my cause. And the minute you go against what I do or what, death to you all. And you're on the other side. And we can't just be like, excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
You can't even question. And that's crazy because as I was growing up, me being able to learn shit or be able to grow was me being able to question stuff. I remember when I was in school, they used to tell me, oh, there's no stupid questions. And then at some point, the more you grow, the more they assume that you're supposed to be like everybody else, right? Everybody wants to, those same people are saying, they're saying, don't be afraid to be yourself. But then if you're someone else, or you just have
Why do you keep saying this? Bernie isn't a super left lunatic. Why do you keep discussing him in bad faith? He wants government to... When did I say Bernie is a super left lunatic? I just said Bernie is very far left in the United States. Did I call Bernie a lunatic? Did I say that? He wants government to subsidize social health care and to tax the rich. Wow, so horrible. No, that's not all he wanted. Bernie wanted a wealth tax, and I'm pretty sure Bernie also wanted to expropriate 20% of all private companies in the United States to give them to the workers. So I don't know if you're not even familiar with Bernie's own policies. You said he's to the left of AOC? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he is. Oh, yeah, and the federal jobs guarantee, too, yeah.
Question, not like them, they fucking dish you out. Yeah. They're the same people that do that, and that's just a bit crazy to me. You cannot question, you cannot have nuance. I'm not saying that you're gonna be canceled. I'm not going to that side. It's just that they are gonna put you on the side of the enemy right away, and that's not really what happens. You might have some questions, and the funny thing is, what I remember, I'm not saying that's exactly what you do, but is that in that direction, the people that I thought that do not have a say in whatever they want to say are people that are under a dictatorship. And you dictate where the group goes and nobody else can question. It leans into the same way. I'm not saying that's what you're inherently doing and you're exactly that and you're a tyrant. And I'm not saying that you're any kind of tyrant like anyone that we had in history.
Remember Bernie Sanders when he was on the campaign trail? He was doing this rally. And then these two black women came on and stole the mic, and he sat there in the corner cucked. And everybody knew that shit was wrong, but nobody said no shit. Why? Because they took over and they co-opted the direction of this thing. Even Bernie.
I'm not convinced that you guys know anything about conservatives, especially after that conversation with IRI. I feel like you guys just don't understand conservatives at all. Or maybe I don't, and maybe I'm delusional. Shapiro's social positions are very extreme. Center-right would be a more libertarian type, like Counterpoints, or maybe even Rob Noor. I'm pretty sure I asked the panel of conservatives that I was on, and I think every single conservative there fucking hated the Daily Wire because they all felt like the Daily Wire wasn't conservative enough. But who knows? Who knows?
On his own campaign trail, had his mic and his time swollen, and pretty much I think for me this really solidified how I viewed him for a
yeah, and the crazy...
I'm like, bro, you ain't got no fucking spine. How you gonna lead a country? You get cucked by two random cities.
You ain't got security.
Yo, that shit was weird.
And the thing that happened is that out of all the people that you could have cut off, you chose Bernie?
Because he's an imperfect ally. Nope, he's an enemy. Again, because he didn't perfectly align with what these sisters thought a political party should do, he was the enemy. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of. And so, to be fair to everyone else, we probably play a large part in that because we criticize this or we criticize that. And sometimes I think we even criticize things I see on the left a lot more. But that's just because that's what I belong to and that's what I'm around way more often.
This is the original response from Ab. H3. H3 acknowledges you. Oh my god, does he?
To his place.
And then I made like a
acknowledges me, or am I just in the background and he doesn't say anything about it? I don't care. Somebody linked me a study that I think that Jonathan Haidt guy talks about. Oh, it's this. Haidt describes a study in which he examines how well liberals, conservatives, and moderates understand each other from page 334 of The Righteous Mind. When I speak to liberal audiences about the three binding foundations, loyalty, authority, sanctity, I find that many in the audience don't just fail to resonate, they actively reject these concerns as immoral. Loyalty to a group shrinks the moral circle. It is the basis of racism and exclusion, they say. Authority is oppression. Sanctity is religious mumbo-jumbo whose only function is to suppress female sexuality and justify homophobia. In a study I did with Jesse Graham and Brian Nosek, we tested how well liberals and conservatives could understand each other. We asked more than 2,000 American visitors to fill out the Moral Foundation's questionnaire. 1/3 of the time, they were asked to fill it out normally, answering as themselves. 1/3 of the time, they were asked to fill it out as they think a typical liberal would respond, and 1/3 of the time, they were asked to fill it out as a typical conservative would respond. This design allowed us to examine the stereotypes that each side held about the other. More important, it allowed us to assess how accurate they were comparing people's expectations about typical partisans to the actual response from partisans on the left and the right, who was best able to pretend to be the other. The results were clear and consistent. Moderates and conservatives were most accurate in their predictions, whether they were pretending to be liberals or conservatives. Liberals were the least accurate, especially those who described themselves as very liberal. The biggest errors in the whole study came when liberals answered to the care and fairness questions while pretending to be conservatives. When faced with questions such as, one of the worst things a person could do is hurt a defenseless animal, or justice is the most important requirement for a society, liberals assumed that conservatives would disagree. If you have a moral matrix built primarily on intuitions about care and fairness as equality, and you listen to the Reagan narrative, what else could you think? Reagan seems completely unconcerned about the welfare of drug addicts, poor people, and gay people. He's more interested in fighting wars and telling people how to run their sex lives. If you don't see that Reagan is pursuing positive values of loyalty, authority, and sanctity, you almost have to conclude that Republicans see no positive value in care and fairness. You might even go as far as Michael Feingold, a theater critic for the liberal newspaper The Village Voice, when he wrote, Republicans don't believe in the imagination, partly because so few of them have one, but mostly because it gets in the way of their chosen work, which is to destroy the human race and the planet. Human beings who have imaginations can see a recipe for disaster in the making. Republicans, whose goal in life is to profit from disaster and who don't give a hoot about human beings, either can't or won't, which is why I personally think they should be exterminated before they cause any more harm. One of the many ironies in this quotation is that it shows the inability of a theater critic who skillfully enters fantastical imaginary worlds for a living to imagine that Republicans act within a moral matrix that differs from his own. Morality binds and binds. It's such a niche meme. Why would you do this?
And in my
one of the big so here's something that, let me impart some life wisdom on you. This is something that I talk about a lot, and this is a direct manifestation of that. In my personal opinion, this is probably true actually, I would argue that 99.9% of humans share the same moral foundation. The issue is that when you start to abstract those, okay, when you get to second, third, fourth order beliefs, they start to differ with each other because of like facts and data that they collect from the environment. So for instance, but the problem is, hold on, wait a second. In YouTube chat, Envy gifted 20 Destiny memberships. Thank you. Why me 090? Will you ever have preach on? Maybe. The problem is that once people differ from their second order beliefs, they assume that they have a first order belief difference, right? So let's say down here, there is a belief in fairness, okay? People believe that the world should be fair, okay? Now, liberals believe in equity, or progressives, I could say. Conservatives believe in reward for, I'll say, an honest day's work, that you work. Now, both sides will have conflicting issues here, okay? The people that, oh, true. Oh, fuck. I should say merit. That's a good summary of that. The issue that you run into here is progressives will look at the merit argument and go, okay, well, not everybody has the same starting foundation. Some people start in life really far behind. You might be screwed as a kid. You don't ever have a chance to catch up. There are socio or systemic barriers in front of you, like racial or sexist or whatever shit, right? And they'll say, this is why merit is not enough. We need to speak about equity, okay? And then conservatives will look at progressives and go, well, hold on. If I'm competing for a job with somebody else and there's a black man and there's me, it should be the most qualified candidate. It's not fair that just because he might have had to jump through more hoops in his life, maybe, you don't even know that. Yeah, sure, he's black and I'm white, but I might have had to jump through hoops that he didn't have to jump through. You don't know that. Why is he being favored at the point of hiring or the point of admission? That's not fair. It should be merit-based. Whoever works harder and does a better job should be hired. Fuck equity, right? Because these people have disagreements here on their like second order beliefs, I would say both, but I guess it's more likely the liberal in this case. Liberals will look at this guy that is the merit argument and go, oh, you don't care about fairness. Because they have these second order beliefs that are different from one another, they make the mistake of going, oh, your first order belief must be totally different. You don't care about merit. Or I'm sorry, you don't care about fairness because you're merit based, right? Or if you can argue similar questions of justice, right? There might be like a liberal or a progressive is very concerned about social justice, and they might think that, oh, because a conservative is more concerned with punishing people that are doing crime, they're law and order, they must not care about actual justice. So yeah, there's... but it's just stupid. It's stupid of you to analyze somebody's fundamental beliefs differently like that. Like it shows a great inability to consider another mind, I guess. But in that case, fairness is being used in two different senses. There's no agreement here. No. There is absolute agreement. The foundational agreement is that life should be fair. We should be rewarded for our efforts, right? That's the foundational agreement. But then how that plays out once like people collect like a different set of facts or whatever that's what changes things, right? But then people assume that oh, well, this side must not care about fairness. You can finish the state of play in FF16. We didn't watch it and you didn't react. What? Can we get into the ABBA H3T, please? Well, it looked boring. I don't think I'm probably going to. It looks boring as fuck to me. I watched some of it when I was away. It sounded like Ethan honestly just being fucking retarded. Like, that's what it looked like. I think I saw like a 10-minute video or a video on Twitter where Ethan Klein just collected every single time ABBA said trans. Like, Ethan is just stupid. I don't know why. I don't even know what. You can link me some videos if you want, but it just seems really, really, really boring. I'm 99% certain we watched the ultra-realistic game trailer before. Yes, we did. I was joking.
Welcome back stateside. Europe.
Oh yeah, wait. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because I'm in England catching all the shots going back and forth. Apparently, you got a lot of people on you right now.
Hey man, honestly,
Jesus. But it's all like retards. You're getting attacked by like the short bus of kids, which I guess is good for you. Who was it? It was H3, and there's one other. And then Myron fucking went crazy with Zerka backing him on Fresh and Fit.
Bro, Myron's video, like we're gonna release one today on it. It was so funny. I was like, I couldn't imagine feeling that betrayed by somebody you met one time for one conversation and never spoke to again. Like the way this guy was talking, like he sounded like we had a long-term relationship or like he's broken up over something. He's like, how can you betray me? How can you do? I'm like, bro, what the fuck is happening? Why are you so upset? So that was. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't caught up on any of that yet because.
Yeah,
it all seems like so. Like I don't even know what the fuck I'm like. Here's what. Okay, I'll admit I've been poisoned. I've been in a lot of crazy drama where like fucking my career and everybody's career is at stake. I got lab with fake allegations against me. Mr. Girl saying I'm raping every woman that comes on stream. So then when I see other people fight sometimes, and then it's like this guy like snaked me once, or that like I don't even know why the fuck H3 is fighting with you because he thinks you're not trans positive enough. It's like the most fucking retarded. Like Ethan's like, I want to go to war. Like, go to war over what? Like, you guys don't even have like ultra serious beef with each other. Like, you're not like dropping false allegations or like some crazy shit, or like trying to end each other's careers. You're just like, he's mad because they perceive you guys as being more right leaning than you guys probably are, and then he wants to like go to war. Like, what the fuck?
Honestly, it really is stupid. Which is why like I was telling Priest, like, I don't. What's the point of this? It's not even entertaining. It's really,
at least like the preach and Myron stuff was. Oh my god.
It's just a back and forth of like, well, Ethan's like, you took me out of context, you clip chipped me, and then we go to do our video. I'm like, bro, I realize this guy just clip chipped me, and he basically just removed the part that debunks what he says right afterwards. But I'm like, am I gonna say that, and then he's gonna do the same, and we're just gonna constantly go back and forth saying like, you took me out of context. It's too redundant. But at least with Myron, it's entertaining watching him lose his mind and veins bulging out of his head. You know, as his hair transplant starts to fail, like it's enjoyable to watch it unfold. But this is boring as fuck, so that's why I'm just not trying.
Yeah, it just seems wild. But who knows? Maybe some good drama will come out of it. And it's like they're easy fights for you guys because I think, especially with like the Ethan shit, I think you guys are like clearly in the right. Like what he posted that 2-minute video on Twitter of you just saying trans. Like,
I had no idea what the point of that was.
Well,
but like taking the time to explain how stupid it is also it feels really pointless. I will say like the only funny part. How is it funny? It was just really, I think, dumb. Was when he tripled down on that like fresh and fit accusation. And I was like, there's
my god. Oh, with the girl who even admitted at the start of the thing that she was just trying to fuck with Fresh and Fit. Like that was the whole point of her being there.
Bro, if you watch the podcast that they did on us when they try to like reinforce that, and it's weird because I'm defending Myron, but like he sits there for about 40 minutes with his like lackeys and they're like, we never said it was sexual assault. We just asked the question, is it sexual assault? It's not. We're not making any allegations. We're not implying or framing anything any type of way. We're just wondering. And then Ethan is so stupid. He goes on, he's like, yeah, we never said that. And then he goes, well, I want to ask the question. What is it when you lift a woman's shirt without her consent? What is that? Anybody? And everyone in the crowd's like quiet. And then someone's like, yeah, what does that mean when it's 5 a.m. and you bring a girl back to your place? And I'm just asking the question. When you lift up her shirt to see her naked bare body, okay, without her consent, what is that? What is that? What is it? Tell me, guys, what is it? And I'm sitting here thinking like, do you guys not hear yourselves right now insinuating that he sexually assaulted a woman? You're just doing it again. So that if you ever watch the pod, just skip over to that part because it is very bizarre to watch unfold. But your takeaway, did you think they accused him of sexual assault?
Yeah, of course. Ethan was thirsting for it. He wanted it so. I feel like fuck. Okay. Oof. These are serious topics. I hope my memory's not failing me. But I feel like there was literally a point in the show where I think Ethan said, like, this is sexual assault, right? And then the girl was like, well, no, I wouldn't go as far to say that. But I think Ethan even tried to, like, put the words in her mouth. And even the girl was like, no, I wouldn't say it was that. I feel like I remember that part of it.
Yeah, absolutely happened.
Yeah.
Your memory is correct.
It was just like and the whole story was so stupid and dumb. Like, were the girls like, yeah, so I can't even believe he took me back to his apartment. Like, I didn't even want to be there. So anyway, 5 minutes later, I brushed my teeth and I was in his bedroom. Like, what the fuck am I listening to? Like, what a stupid fucking story. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then Myron came back with a bunch of receipts showing like the way she framed the conversation was just untrue. She claimed like it was a one-sided conversation, and then Myron just scrolls.
Yeah,
and you see them texting back and forth. And then there's a claim of like quid pro quo. The only reason why she gave him her number was because he had her wallet. But then you see that she texted him first, and so none of the allegations as they were saying it were true. She claimed that she got separated from her friend by Myron. That was like the plan that was going to grab. But then he shows a text message where they had texted her exactly what was going to happen, and so she was caught lying repeatedly.
Yeah,
and Ethan just glosses over all of that, claiming we had no reason to call her a liar. And then he claims that we doxed her, which I was like really confused by, because I'm like, how do we dox her? And he's like, you said her name and you put her picture in the thumbnail. And then I had to like think about it. And then I went to watch. Byron and Fresh, they did a video 4 days before showcasing exactly who she was, what she did, and publicly made that information available. So I'm curious, is that considered doxing if she's already publicly outed?
I mean, I wouldn't say so. It just depends on the nature of what you're doing. Like, if you do a video and you're calling people to harass somebody, it depends. But, I mean, I probably wouldn't say it is, but yeah. But how? Yeah.
Everybody already knew who she was, so how's that doxing? I'm confused.
Yeah.
She went on a public podcast. And also, another thing, fuck that. Fuck you. I don't think you should be able to remain anonymous. If you want to make some kind of insinuation of sexual impropriety against somebody on a public platform and then say like all this other shit and then think you get to remain anonymous. I don't think that's right. Maybe that's the LT, but I feel like you should be publicly out there. Is that crazy to say?
I can see good arguments on both sides of that one, but I think broadly speaking, I think I would probably agree. Because like the potential for abuse, if you're gonna go public with stuff like that, like especially when it's like so many details and shit that the other person could obviously out you, right? Like it's not like Myron and Walter don't know who she is, so yeah.
But wait, I don't understand how somebody can have like the veil of anonymity whilst they're like completely potentially almost destroying someone else's life. Like, you know, if we're talking about whistleblowers or somebody like working in government, like, all right, fine, I understand because the potential for harm there is like really great, maybe. But I don't know. To me, an individual, I don't see why they should be able to retain their anonymity. They're going to be hurting someone that publicly and then making such huge accusations. Like, what's the argument for saying they should be allowed, other than like it might blow back on them? The
argument for saying that they should be allowed to be anonymous?
Yeah.
I mean, just like the idea that like if you come forward with an accusation like that, if it's true, people could harass like for the Tates, this has happened, where somebody might make an accusation and then they sick their entire fan base on them to destroy that person's life. So the idea that it could discourage somebody from making an accusation because they're worried about like blowback from other creators.
Okay.
But I mean, like, again, there's strong arguments on both sides. Like, should somebody really be able to like anonymously come out? Like, for instance, in Mr. Girl's like report of me, if there were like 5 women anonymously said that Destiny sexually harassed them, like, I would feel cucked. I'd be like, I don't even know who the fuck these people are. Like, I don't get to respond to this. So I would tend to agree that if you're going to make an accusation, it should be public. But like I'm saying, I can see arguments on both sides of it.
Okay, gotcha.